Hello, hello. The time has finally come for me to discuss this book right here. I have gifted myself some time this morning to end up finishing the last chapter, and it's finally done. It's cool to see how I finished it right by the end of the year, and it's been a journey. I don't know how long it took me to finish this, perhaps 3 months, maybe. That was a while. I even had a pit stop halfway through by reading another book. But yeah, this is a long boy. This is the biggest book I have read and finished. Um, so I'm happy. I'm happy it's done. So a bit of context, I ended up getting this book by doing a book swap with my friend. And I gave her The Vegetarian, which is the previous book review that I've done. And she gave me this to read. I don't know how I managed, truthfully. Because this is a Japanese book, Japanese writer. And what I realized from Japanese authors and their style is that they enjoy prolonging things and explanations, and just their style of writing is just a bit slow and long. And when it's a fat book like this, at the beginning I was like, oh, it's gonna be the whole book of just extended explanations and things. Uh, but I learned how to handle that. This book taught me how to read fast and yeah, and just understand what information to properly put my attention towards and what information I should just glance over perchance. But yes, I enjoyed it. And let me say, I don't know why. Even at the beginning, when the first half of this book is slow and it just gets, you need to get in the rhythm of just watching it. Ugh, storage low? Wait a second. It shouldn't be like that. Okay. At what part did I stop? I think, yeah, I don't know why I was enjoying it. Perhaps the act of it being a book's what made me value it and want to read it even more. That does tend to happen with me when it's connected to a person that I'm close with. But the first half, I was like, I'm enjoying it, but I don't know why. Um, that's the best way to put it. And I feel like there wasn't a clear definition for me for why it's good. Or I was struggling to understand if it was actually good. But there's the way they talk about food, I enjoyed. That's an interesting aspect. Like, I am planning to potentially cook some of the recipes that are discussed here. That could be interesting. And in this book, there is an aspect of beauty that is talked about, body, like fat shaming and discussing people's body weights and all of that. And it's just, I'm not the best person to explain that aspect for you if you want to just read the book. I would say they did a good job at depicting comfort and beauty in all shapes and sizes, and just, yeah. Like, even though at the beginning I wasn't sure what I was enjoying in this book and I just carried on reading, I think I was constantly hoping for more. I was constantly expecting more drama or whatnot. And it's only upon like halfway point, one of the chapters, that shit actually started happening. And I was like, why did it take so long? They had the first half of the book just presenting the characters and stating their position in the story, and it's only like at halfway point did shit start happening. For me, that's long. For me, I was like, can you hurry up, please? Okay, could you have made this book like 100 pages shorter, please? It's only, yeah, in the second half that things started happening, And I feel like those climaxes that happen in the second half were good due to the build-up of the first half. But at the same time, just hurry up. What I find as a good aspect of Japanese narration and their stories is how they are able to make things beautiful in a simple way, and of just finding a way for you to understand and connect with the character in the story in the most simplest, natural way possible. They don't need any grandeur events or any grandeur reasons to give you to be able to enjoy the characters and understand them and envision their problems. In this book, the writer Asako Yozuki, she was able to genuinely make the characters feel human and the problems of the human world be depicted in the most natural way, and it indicating how just everyone is going through shit, and there's a lot of problems that occurred through miscommunication and through the context of what these characters experience during their lifetime, and how it led to the specific choices that they ended up making. It's the trail of thought that is well established in this book. My favorite chapters were perhaps the last two chapters, because at that point, that's when the truth is sort of revealed of how this main antagonist, if you may, affected the people around her. And this book is about this reporter trying to uncover the truth about how this one lady, Kaiji, has affected the people around her, and just was she actually the murderer or the killer? And I found it beautifully tragic in how they showed the answer to that question. Even though she wasn't the one physically murdering the people, she was the one psychologically, if you may, doing her part. Which I still didn't understand the reason for her sort of betraying the potential connection with the main character. I didn't understand the reason for why she chose to go down that path. I kind of didn't explain it at the end. They kind of just went with it and be like, okay, she did that, and now she's on her. Like, now the paths have decepted. And I think with the main antagonist, it was just a depiction of how she's the one that's making her life the way it is, lonesome and collapsing. She's the reason for her distraught and troubles, and there's no one else to blame but her. She's actively putting herself in a position of being alone and without having dear, close people. And even though at the beginning there was, in the first half of the book, they tried to paint some sympathy towards the antagonist, and I was feeling the sympathy of that. But when a character is represented as constantly proceeding forth with the actions that destroy something beautiful in their life, that's when that sympathy ends for me. If you actively pursue collapse, then there's no beauty in your life. Last thing I will potentially mention about the main character is that in the second half of the book, I found myself to actually be connecting with the main character, which was quite an interesting aspect of the read during the book. And it's that this whole book is about the development of this main character and how the antagonist affected her mindset, and how she was able to start looking at things from a different perspective in her life, and just considering different aspects and taking charge in what her relationship truly meant for her, what the connections truly meant for her, what she desires from the general life that she'll be living in the future. And yeah, I feel like that's the most important story being told in this book, is the development of the main character and who she ends up becoming, of who she was and who she ends up becoming by the end of it. There's several parts near the end where they mention that the main character is looking for her own flat to be able to give space for her dear people to exist and to be able to connect with her and her other dear people. And that's what I desire as well, of having my own space of where I'll be able to invite people over, occasionally have dinners, have social interactions with my close friends, and allowing for that safe space for them to exist. I found that beautiful, and I genuinely connected with that aspect of the main character and how she realized that that's her true desire in life. Because none of us likes to feel alone. We want to give opportunity for connections to develop and for connections to be nurtured in our lives. And that's one of the main aspects that I'll be looking forward to once I have my own space, is giving an opportunity for more connections to be established and developed. Nonetheless, I don't reckon I have much else to say about this book. In part, I expected more. In part, I am satisfied. I liked the ending. It was a satisfying, pleasant ending to the book. And yeah, it's beautiful in the simplest way. Don't expect anything too grandeur, but if you're willing to simmer the butter for a little bit, then pick it up, give it a go. And one of the main reasons why I was, I think, internally able to sit through this book was because like a year or two ago, I ended up reading this book, another Japanese one, Murakami, Norwegian Wood. This one I picked up fully spontaneously because I thought it was something else than it was actually. I low-key wouldn't recommend this book, but this allowed me to be prepared for the style of Japanese writing and narration and just the way they choose to depict the struggles of characters. And because of this book, I was able to enjoy this book. So that's the context of it. I think I shall leave it at that. I'm happy that I was able to finish the book by the end of the year. That chapter was closed, and new ones will emerge from the books I'm still yet to read that are my books. That's what 2026 is about. It's giving time for my stuff and my interests and my nourishments. Thank you for listening. This was probably a very weird, unplanned, a rough book reflection. I don't even know if I said anything beneficial or explanatory, but take it as you will. Goodbye.